welcome back to another What I've Watched video. This is What I've Watched video number 30. Can you believe it? I've been doing these for a long time and I really enjoy doing them. I have two piles for you guys here today, and this is all the movies that I watched in the second half of March. The movies that I watched in the beginning half of March is my What I've Watched video 29, and these are the movies that I watched in the rest of March. So let's just jump right into it. So the first one I have here is Say When, which in the US is called Laggies. So yeah, it's got a bit of a different name in different countries, but I really enjoyed this one and I want to watch it again very soon. So we've got Chloe Grace Moretz and Keira Knightley and Sam Rockwell in this one. I kind of thought that Chloe Grace Moretz was being a little bit more than she was, because it's kind of basically about Keira Knightley, who is, I think maybe she's 27, all her friends are kind of getting married, have babies. You know, they've kind of got to the adult part of life. She's kind of not ready for that yet. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. Everybody kind of keeps telling her, okay, you need to kind of do this and that and this, and get yourself together and become more adult. And she's just like, why does she have to, you know, do these things that everyone else has set her for her to do? So she runs into Chloe Grace Moretz, who is a teenager, and her friends, and they kind of end up becoming friends. And basically, she goes and leaves her other life for a week and goes and stays at her house. Now, Sam Rockwell is Chloe Grace Moretz's dad, but I do feel like the friendship between these two wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as big a part of the movie as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. I still really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I had a great time watching it. I definitely know I'll watch it many times. It's one of those movies that I think I could just watch, like I say, multiple times and enjoy it each time. But yeah, so if you haven't seen it, I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Keira Knightley. I think she's great. I'm definitely a big fan of Chloe Grace Moretz. She's always fantastic in movies. And Sam Rockwell, I haven't seen him in a ton of things, but what I have seen him in, I've really enjoyed. Especially the Way Back. I really thought he was great in that. And he was very great in this. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie, kind of like a nice little quirky indie movie. But yeah, so that is Say When. The next one I watched is The Heat, and this was a rewatch. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I think the first time I watched it I probably gave it 4, but it's just not quite as funny as it was. I think this is my 3rd time watching it, so, you know, we've got Melissa McCarthy, who I love, and Sandra Bullock, who I also think is fantastic. So it was kind of a great duo. And they're like, she's an FBI agent, she's a cop, and they kind of don't get along at first. It's like buddy cop type of movie, and they're in this rough part of town trying to undercover this thing. This thing that's going on with this guy who's a drug dealer and these other guys, you know the story, that kind of thing. And it is very funny, but the actual storyline behind the comedy, like the actual cop storyline, I just don't think is that strong, and that's kind of the problem I have when rewatching this. I still laugh at the jokes, I still think they're funny, but it's just the actual plot that I just find not as exciting now. The plot is kind of wearing a bit thin on me and I'm just not enjoying it as much, but the jokes I am still enjoying every time. So yeah, I do think this is very funny. I laugh. I love the cat. I know I say this in more movies when they have a funny cat, but this is another one. It has a funny cat and I just love it. Yeah, so it's not a big part, it's a tiny part, but it's still funny. But yes, I enjoyed this one. You know, I've seen it before. 3.5 stars. The next one that I watched is another Melissa McCarthy one, and it is Tammy. Now, many people had said, you know, this movie sucks, this is a rubbish movie, don't watch this movie. So I didn't pick it up when it first came out. I was like, ah. And I managed to pick it up now for cheaper than I would have before, and I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a go. It's got Melissa McCarthy in, who I love, and it's got Susan Sarandon in, and it has Toni Collette in. It's got quite a lot of people in that I really wanted to see. Oh, Kathy Bates, yeah, there's some great people in this movie. And you know what, it was just a good time. It wasn't anything spectacular. The storyline was just a bit here or there. Basically, Tammy has caught her husband cheating on her. She's got fired from a job. She's having an awful day, and she decides to take a road trip with her grandma, who is Susan Sarandon, and it's funny. I just laughed multiple times in this movie. There was some bits where I was like, oh yeah, that's such a funny little joke, I want to tell it to other people. I just laughed. I didn't give it, what did I give it? 3.5 or 3? Yeah, 3.5. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was nothing fantastic. It definitely wasn't worth any more stars, but it still made me laugh, and that's what I liked about it. Yeah, sometimes it was a little bit too silly, but still, I was laughing. Some of the jokes did fall flat though, and I was like, oh, that joke wasn't quite that funny, but then it'd bring it back with a joke that I did really enjoy. So yeah, Tammy, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was definitely funny. I would actually probably watch this again. It's just kind of an easy fun watch, but I'm just a big fan of Melissa McCarthy, so yes. The next one that I watched was The Wolf of Wall Street. Yes, I hadn't seen this movie until now. Everybody and their mother has seen this movie except for me, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to think of this one. It's definitely a very interesting, different movie. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen it by now. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Did I give it 4.5? No, I gave it 4 stars. But I couldn't tell you why. It's one of those movies, you kind of get sucked in. It's like 3 hours long. And it didn't really feel like 3 hours long, but then it almost kind of did. It's a weird movie. Basically, obviously, it's based on a true guy. What's the real guy's name? Jordan Belford? Is that it? I don't know. Anyway, so basically, you know, he creates his own stock place. I don't know much about the stock market or Wall Street or anything like that, but it still intrigued me. And it's very much about drinking and drugs and sex and all that kind of stuff, all these crazy things that they do. And for the storyline itself, to me, didn't sound mega interesting, but then there was just something about it, something really interesting about Leonardo DiCaprio's character that you just kind of got sucked in. And I really, really enjoyed it. But again, I couldn't have explained why, and I kind of thought for it afterwards for a while, like, I did really enjoy that. But what do I have to say about it? I don't know. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I don't know if I'd watch it. Well, I probably would watch it again, but definitely not anytime soon. But I think that's more to do with the length of it. The soundtrack was great. I loved the soundtrack to this movie. It looked fantastic. I mean, some of the shots in this were fantastic. And it was interesting. I definitely think you should watch this one once for sure, if you're kind of on the fence about it. But I'm sure most people have probably seen this one by now. Okay, so the next one that I watched was The Hunger Games. Yes, so with Mockingjay recently coming out this month in March on Blu-ray, I'd watched Mockingjay and I talked about it in my last What I've Watched video, and then I really wanted to go back and watch The Hunger Games. I've watched Catching Fire multiple times. I think that's the one I've watched the most. But then this one I've also watched many times, but I hadn't watched it for a while. I went back and watched it, and this one I thought was kind of the less dark of the 3, but then I watched it again, I was like, no, I think this one's still really, really dark as a movie. Like, it surprised me. Even though I've seen it many times before, I kind of still felt like, wow, this movie, and I love The Hunger Games. I give this 5 stars. I'm such a big Hunger Games fan. I know it's really kind of maybe overrated, but I just love it. Yeah, this movie, I loved it. I thought I was kind of maybe going to think, oh, this one's not as good as the others now, but no. I still loved it. 5 stars, Hunger Games. I don't think I need to say much more about that because I've probably mentioned it in many other past videos as well. So the next one I have is Paddington. This was very, very cute and really surprised me. So I've done a review of this one, but basically I give this movie 4.5 stars because, like I say, it just surprised me. It was very cute. The set design in this film was fantastic, really phenomenal. I can't say that word. And it was just such a cute movie. It was very funny, very quirky, very British. I loved the jokes about the rain, and I think because I'm British, I kind of connected with it a bit more maybe. I don't know if that's really a thing, but I kind of just felt a big connection with this movie, and it was just very, very sweet. And I definitely think it's a fantastic family film. Sometimes, you know, they kind of get a little bit silly and a little bit stupid. This one I feel like didn't do that, and it was just very, very sweet. It kind of kept it all condensed, nothing was drawn out, none of it was boring, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you haven't seen Paddington, I would highly recommend it, but I do have a full review of it if you want to know more in-depth thoughts on that one. Next one I watched was, again, a rewatch. That was Saving Mr. Banks. This movie, I love this movie. This is now one of my favourite movies. I give this 5 stars. This it's probably my 5th, 6th time watching it, and I enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time. This movie blows me away. I can't explain it. It's basically the story of Mary Poppins, you know, with P.L. Travers and Disney, and they call him Mr. Disney because that's what she calls him in the movie. But yeah, Walt Disney and him trying to get the rights for the movie and all that stuff. But it's so much more than that. Emma Thompson is fantastic. Tom Hanks is fantastic. When I watch this movie, I kind of feel like I'm watching Walt Disney, not Tom Hanks. He does such a good job, and I just love it. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But like I said, I've talked about this one multiple times as well, and I do have an old review on it as well. So yeah, Saving Mr. Banks is a big thumbs up for me. One of my favourites. The next one that I watched was on a Tuesday night movie night, and it is Wish I Was Here. This movie is a fantastic movie about kind of like a quirky family and their life and the things that they go through. And I gave this one, I gave it 4 stars? Yeah, 4 stars. And I just really enjoyed it. It was my 2nd time watching it, and I know I'll watch it again in the future. There's something about this movie that I can't quite put my finger on it, but I just really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. I haven't heard too many people discuss this one, but I personally really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's Wish I Was Here. I'll shuffle those along onto the next pile. I watched Free Willy 2, which is in this 4-movie collection thing. I think I'd seen Free Willy 2 when I was younger, but I couldn't really remember it as much as the first one. So this one follows the same cast of characters, which I really appreciated, and we have Jesse, who ends up seeing Free Willy again. Now he's out in the wild, and again, I'm glad they didn't just try and do the same thing with another whale. You know, Free Willy was back, and he's, you know, gone out to the wild like he did in the last movie, and basically there's this oil spill in the ocean. That's kind of the problem in the movie, but there's some parts of this movie where I was kind of like on the edge of my seat, and that surprised me. I didn't expect that, so I gave it 4 stars. While I gave the first movie 5 stars, so I didn't enjoy it as much as the first, and I felt the first one's more rewatchable, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to watching the third one in this pack, because it's called Free Willy 3 The Rescue. The second one's called The Adventure Home. But yeah, I don't know if I've seen the third one. I can't remember, so when I watch it I'll have to remember whether I've seen it or not. The next movie I've watched was The World's End with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. This is one of the Cornetto trilogy. I love Shaun of the Dead, and I love Hot Fuzz. Those two I absolutely love. I also really love Paul, but that's not in this little pack, but it's still got the 2 of them in. I really love Paul, and I love Shaun of the Dead, and I love Hot Fuzz. And I find them really, really funny, and I really, really enjoy them. This one, I just didn't really enjoy. This one really disappointed me. I liked the beginning of it, but then I really didn't like the actual alien robot things. They just kind of didn't, I don't know, I just didn't enjoy them. I didn't find it very funny. I gave this movie 2.5 stars. I was really, really disappointed with it, actually. I know some people really still enjoy it, but it's definitely the weaker of the bunch. I feel like because I really enjoyed Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz so much, that this one I was kind of, I don't know, I just really had problems with it. Like I said, I didn't find some parts of it funny. I kind of found it a bit boring. I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy this one. Basically, you know, they go back to their hometown to go on a pub crawl to get to the World's End, which is the last pub, and they get kind of invaded by these robot alien type things, but that just kind of, I don't know, I just didn't like that, the villain, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, 2.5 stars. I was kind of disappointed with that one. The next one that I watched was The Love Punch with Pierce Brosnan and Emma Thompson. This I actually really enjoyed. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Well, did I give it 3? No, I think I gave it 3.5. Yeah, I gave it 3.5. Basically, the 2 of them have been divorced, and they have to kind of go on this trip together to France because of some money things. And it's very, very fun. They kind of, on this little mission, their friends get involved. It's very funny. I really liked the setting. Emma Thompson is fantastic. Pierce Brosnan was great. And overall, it was just a feel-good, fun movie with a bit of action here and there. It definitely made me laugh at times. Yeah, so I enjoyed this one. I'd probably watch it again as well. Not maybe in a rush, but I would. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Like I said, I'm a big Emma Thompson fan, so I really enjoyed that one. The next movie that I watched was another sports movie, and I was really excited to watch this one. It is 42, based on the true story of Jackie Robinson, and it's set in the 40s while there's a lot of segregation problems and, you know, that type of stuff, and then there has never been a coloured man in a Major League Baseball team, and that's basically what it's about. You know, Jackie Robinson was the first coloured man to play in Major League Baseball, but obviously there was a lot of outrage and problems with it and all this kind of stuff, but it was a fantastic movie. It dealt with kind of two different things. You know, it had the sports element of it and the kind of rooting for the underdog, but then it also dealt with the kind of, you know, seeing this horrible side of you know, the racial problems that there were back then, and, well, there's still racial problems, but, you know, the major, like, it was really bad, and you can see some of this in this movie, and it's really shocking to see. And it was just a fantastic movie. It was very uplifting. I felt like it did what it was set out to do perfectly. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really loved the end when you could see kind of some of the true, you know, clip parts and stuff. I always enjoy movies based on true stories, actually. I always kind of feel a closer connection to them. I was like, oh yeah, you know, this really happened, and you really kind of want to root for Jackie Robinson, and it's a really, really great, inspiring story. If you haven't seen 42, I definitely recommend it, because like I say, I personally really enjoyed it, and it was a great, great movie, so yeah, check out 42. The next one that I watched was obviously a rewatch because it's Brave. Yeah, I gave this movie 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this movie. It's such a great movie. You know, it's set in Scotland, and it's kind of Pixar's princess movie. And basically, I'm sure most people have seen Brave. If you haven't seen Brave, you should definitely check it out. Basically, this Merida is having some issues because her mother wants her to, you know, have a arranged marriage, and she really doesn't want to do that. She's kind of wants to just be on her own for a bit. She's not ready, and, you know, she has a bow and arrow, which is awesome. And yeah, that's kind of all I'm going to tell you. There's other parts of the movie, but I actually didn't know about them the first time I watched them, so I was really surprised. So yeah, if you've seen this one, let me know. I'm sure most people have seen this one. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was a great movie. It's not one of my absolute favourite Pixar movies, but it's definitely up there. Pixar are always fantastic, so yes, Brave. The next one I watched was Empire State. And you know what? This cover makes it look like it's actually going to be about the Empire State Building. Look, it says Empire State, then it's got a picture of the Empire State Building there, and on the back it's got a picture of the Empire State Building, but it's not to do with the Empire State Building. Anyway, so also one other thing about the cover, Emma Roberts is only in 2 scenes. But anyway, that isn't the point. This movie is basically about Liam Hemsworth, who ends up working at this place, which is like an Empire State, I don't know, it's in Brooklyn or the Bronx, I can't be quite sure. And there's a lot of money and low security. So, you know, obviously, you know, they have some kind of little plan and his friends to rob the place. Now, I really liked Liam Hemsworth in this movie, and Dwayne Johnson, he's the cop in this movie. And I really liked Liam Hemsworth. I think he did a fantastic job, and I kind of liked the story, but there was one big thing in this movie which I just wish wouldn't have been in there, because it kind of ruined it for me. I was actually quite enjoying it, and then this guy, basically, Liam Hemsworth's best friend was the most annoying, obnoxious guy, and he was supposed to be, but he was way too far. And basically, he was actually Drake from Drake and Josh. He was that, I don't know the actor's name, but he was that guy. And I hated him in this movie, and it really put a downer on the movie for me, because otherwise I think I would have actually enjoyed it a bit more, and if maybe he would have had a bit more connection with Emma Roberts, who wasn't in it much. But yeah, so I ended up giving this one 2.5 stars, which is really disappointing, because I actually was kind of enjoying it. I liked Dwayne Johnson, I liked Liam Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth I thought was good in it, and then it was just that guy, I was so annoyed with him. But I think it was on this little streak I was having of not, I mean, you'll see, I've not really enjoying the movie so much, so I kind of think I was more harsh on it than I should have been, because it was just that one character that I really didn't like. The rest of the movie I actually was quite enjoying, but him, that guy, I just hated him so much that I just wanted to punch him. So I kind of felt like I deducted points for that. Whereas actually, if you can ignore him, I enjoyed the movie. But he just, that guy. But yeah, no, it's not a bad film. I mean, some people kind of bash on this, but I quite enjoyed it. But apart from the guy. The next one, the next 3 I watched, I talked about in my, I did a movie night, or movie day marathon on Sunday. I uploaded the whole video and talked about these 3 in depth, so I'm really not going to go over them again. Space Jam, I gave 3 stars. It was my first time watching it. It's a basketball movie with Looney Tunes. But yeah, I talked a lot in depth about that one. RoboCop, I gave 2.5 stars. See, it's this 2.5 star harshness I was on this month. I didn't really enjoy it very much. I kind of felt the storyline was just, I just felt, I don't know. I talked about it a lot in my other video, like I say, but yeah, I was disappointed in this one. And the next one that I watched in that marathon was 2 Weeks Notice. I gave it 3 stars. It does what it says on the tin. I enjoyed it. It was just kind of a stupid little romantic comedy type thing. With Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant, it had some laughs, and that was kind of what I wanted. And then finally, for this video, I watched Horns, which I just did a full review of previous to this video, and I enjoyed this a lot. I gave this movie 4.5 stars. This movie surprised me. It was shot fantastically. The cinematography was great. The soundtrack was great. The storyline was very weird, very creepy, but very good. Some things surprised me a lot in this. The story was absolutely great. I kind of thought the story was going to be weaker than it was, and it really wasn't. It was a really great story. Daniel Radcliffe is great. I did a full review on this, and I really enjoyed it. So yes, those are the movies that I watched this second half of March. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these What I've Watched videos. And yeah, I'll do another one halfway through April. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!